because this ain't regular TV. I'm Morgan with Q104.5. I got Megan Sosney from Y102.5 Morning Show, and Wicked star Jessica Drake. I'm sorry, I just want to touch you.
Touch me!
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Now, Jessica, it's going to be at Guilty Pleasures this evening.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
it's ladies' night, 5 o'clock, and you're going to have a special seminar. I want you to tell me about it.
Well, how much can I tell you about it? How much would you like from me? Like, how far can I take?
Well, what's the title?
Don't go
Yeah.
all the way.
Yeah,
Okay,
what's
go
the
all the
title?
way, but not go all the way? Okay. The title of the seminar that I'm going to do tonight is called Sex for the Wicked Woman. So in it, I take a lot of my most popular topics because I host a radio show and I do a podcast too.
Yeah.
Shameless plug, stfushow.com or you can find me on iTunes. But I get a lot of questions about, I'll say, oral sex.
Oh.
And I get a lot of questions about maybe not the regular kind of sex that you would have, but the backdoor kind of sex.
Oh,
Oh, she said it.
Never leaving by the back door
Oh my.
kind of sex?
That sort
kind
of thing.
sex? Wow.
So
Okay.
I answer a lot of questions. I cover a lot of topics. I give sort of my basic philosophy in
Right.
all of this, and sex and relationships and dating, and so I encompass everything. And then at the end of the seminar, I do what turns out to be probably a 30-minute Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that there's going to be, for those who are a little more bashful, they can write their questions down on a note.
Yeah, I do that everywhere that I go because I think that there are a lot of people with some questions that they've always had, or things that they're interested in or curious about, and they've never really had somebody to ask them to.
Right.
But maybe you're in an area where it's a little more conservative, or you're there with your sister or your girlfriend. You don't want that person to know that you've asked that question because maybe they'll give you a hard time down the line. So I bring this big box and a big stack of index cards, and I noticed you have a very nice box.
I
as well.
do. You can see my box at Guilty Pleasures tonight, but it's a registration box. So, so
Right.
put lots of tickets in it.
So I let people just put their questions in my box, and at the end of the Q&A, after everybody's audible questions have
Right.
run out, I start reaching into the box and reading the really the ones that people are maybe not so eager to ask out loud.
Right on. I've got to say that I have so much respect for what you do. I wish I had the nerve, but I know it takes a special kind of person to do that. How does one get into this industry?
Well, I think that not only it takes a special kind of person to do what I do, but I think it really takes a special person to be around as long as I have.
Yeah.
I've been in the business for 10 years. I started out as I was going to school in Texas, and I have 3 years of a psych degree.
Right on.
Go figure. I find it very useful in my daily activities. And I was doing something really cliche. I was stripping my way through college.
Okay.
And I knew people in the adult industry. I was constantly bombarded with, please, you should do magazines, you should do these softcore TV shows. And I had a friend that was a director, and he would always offer me parts in movies. And I know that sounds a little sleazy in itself, but he directs features in the adult industry, and his name is Michael Raven, and what he does is very big budget and very beautiful. And I went on set a few times, and I realized that it's probably a lot more like a business than people think it is. And I've always been really comfortable being naked, and I've always been really sexually experimental. So the business really gives me an opportunity to have so much control and act out all these fantasies that I have. It's basically really great sex.
Yeah.
And then the people go home, and I can, especially now as a director,
Right.
I can arrange any sexual situation that I want, and then it's done. And
What's
it's
it like from the
done.
other side of the camera?
It's amazing. And
Do you ever want to just jump in?
yeah. It happens quite often. It just happened the other day. I just wrapped my 3rd instructional series,
Yeah.
which is well, I'm just gonna say it's anal.
Okay.
That's the topic of my 3rd.
Some of us need to know how.
No, a lot of people need the instructions.
Thank you for Jessica.
That's one of the most popular questions that I get is, how do I do that, or
Yeah.
how do I talk my wife
how
or
do you
girlfriend into
enjoy
it?
doing
Yes,
it?
exactly. And it is to be enjoyed. And if it's not something that you enjoy, well, you shouldn't be doing it. So I'm directing my 3rd. It's called Jessica Drake's Guide to Wicked Sex, the anal edition, And the talent that I use, I always use people that I really like personally, even if I'm not interacting with them on camera, because I don't have sex in the series. I just narrate, write, create, direct, do all the research for it. And the talent that I pick, though, I'm very into. And I had Asa Akira doing a scene with Mr. Marcus. And I'm telling you, I have never wanted to move everybody over and just work my way in. I also used Dana D'Armond. I used a guy named Ramon Nomar, who is like the Antonio Banderas of our industry. And so, yeah, the temptation is definitely there. As far as being a director, I think the reason that I started doing it is because back before I was with Wicked, and I'm a Wicked Pictures contract girl. That's really good for me. Like,
Can you explain what that is?
To be a contract girl, especially with our company, means that you are representative of the entire brand. So I am really everything that we stand for. And I do a lot of traveling and signings, like I'm doing at Guilty Pleasures. And I just represent the company, you know, to the best of my ability. And so, well, being a Wicked girl is... It's given me the opportunity to do some really high quality movies. But before I was with Wicked, I was sort of free agent. So as a result, I may have worked on some lower budget movies when I was first getting in, and all I could do was sit there and think, God, if I was doing this, it would be so much different. This is what I would do.
Right.
This is what they would wear. You know, and so I decided to sort of take a hold of some of that creative control, and I became an assistant director to a guy named Brad Armstrong, who directs all of Wicked's best movies, and I've been sort of his right-hand man for about 6 or 7 years. And 3 years ago, I was just doing so much of it. There's no job on a set that I won't do. I'll move lighting equipment, I'll dress the people, I'll undress the people. I do everything. I sit behind the monitor, I'm the script supervisor. Yes, we have scripts. And so I realized that I was learning all of this and wanted to try it on my own. So I started directing, and the feeling of creativity that I get when I direct a movie, where I see it from start to finish. I write all of my own scripts. I do all of my own locations and casting, and I put the people together that I think are going to perform the best. And I use their feedback, of course. But to see it as a completed project, and especially to see it on screen at the AVN Awards. I did a movie last year called 3 Days in June, and it was really good, and AVN really loved it. And to sit in the crowd and watch my movie up on the big screen and get all the recognition for doing it myself. Like, I sat there and went, I did that.
That's your baby.
And it was so good. You know, it was a really cool feeling. So
when you were first starting out, were there things that you were like, I definitely won't do that? And I mean, how do you kind of overcome some of those boundaries and fears that everybody has?
Yeah, I never really consciously decided to try to overcome them. Like, I didn't say, well, this is a type of sex I'm not comfortable with, but maybe I should be. The type of sex that I have is nowhere in my contract. And I think that might be a little bit unusual. A lot of companies before had said, well, we'll contract you for this many movies a year, this many scenes will be this type of scene, you will work with these types of people, and so on down the line. I do things that I want to do when I feel like doing them. So as a result, I felt really comfortable, and I've probably done more because of it. And I'm really sexually curious. So if I want to do something, I usually do it in a situation with, let's just say, a scene with a lot of people in it.
Also known as?
An orgy.
Okay.
So that the focus isn't on me. So if something that I'm trying isn't working, then I can just stop doing it, and it's no big deal. It's a lot less pressure, and it's working.
Now, I'm sorry, is there ever
please.
a time when they say, okay, well, this is what you're going to do with this person, you're like, oh, hell no. I mean, like,
yeah, of course. But we don't really do that, though. Like, when we book scenes, I'll speak from a director's standpoint. When I book a scene, I book the women according to the role that I want them to be playing. If I need a cougar, I book a cougar. If I need a younger girl or a hot biker chick, so I do that first. After that, I determine the type of scene I need, which I usually know going in just from having written it. And I say, well, who do you want to work with? And
Gotcha.
that I go for that. Because in my experience, and I know that there are girls out there that will show up and will just work with who they're assigned to work with, but in my experience, there's so much more chemistry when you ask the person who they prefer working with. I have about, it's a list of rotation really, but I work with maybe 7 or 8 guys total.
Okay.